just a disguise.
Welcome back to the First, the Last, the Nerdom, the podcast where we dive into the first, the last, and everything in between across the wide, weird world of movies and pop culture. This week, we're kicking off a brand new themed month, and it's one we're calling Christmas Movie, ? With a big old question mark at the end, because this month, we're not just talking about sleigh bells and snowmen. We're examining those movies that live right on the edge. The film that can be argued as a Christmas movie, even if they feel like they were made by someone who actively hates Christmas. Last week, we quietly bridged the gap between our Criterion month and this new theme with Eyes Wide Shut, a film that somehow managed to be full of Christmas lights and existential dread and vibes that absolutely do not belong in a Hallmark card, but it turns out that makes it the perfect transition film, which brings us to the first official movie of our new season, the 1995 Spanish black comedy cult classic, The Day of the Beast. This is not your typical Christmas movie. There are no warm family dinners, no reindeer, no heartwarming lessons. Instead, we get a priest trying to commit enough sins to summon Satan, a heavy metal store clerk, a conspiracy-obsessed TV psychic, and a race against time to stop the Antichrist, all set against a backdrop of Christmas lights and holiday chaos. It's dark, it's ridiculous, it's violent, and it's surprisingly festive in the most unhinged way possible. So light your candles, question your holiday traditions, and prepare yourself for a season of arguments, debates, and extremely questionable definitions of the phrase Christmas movie. This is the First, the Last, the Nerdom, and this is the beginning of Christmas Movie ? Month, starting with the gloriously chaotic cult classic, The Day of the Beast. And I'm here with ML. I am Tom. And how are you doing, Mike?
Good. How about you, sir? Thank you so much for having so much patience before we're way late for our scheduled start time. But we usually take our time and make improvements as we can. But
the answer was email. Oddly enough, it's a little private joke there.
Well, if this were a little bit more serious, maybe. And it takes itself seriously, movie. Maybe it would be a little bit scarier and more. And then if we had Art the Clown, because we had Gremlins, but we always have Gremlins. So,
oh, he fell. he was on standby. He's a little clumsy.
Perfect. No, we are here, Tom. Thank you so much. And with that being said, we're gonna get into the plugging here.
Yeah. We're decorating the. So we're getting into Christmas. We decided to do a little holiday themed intro songs. So we'll have a different one each time. I kind of wanted it to play out a little bit more, get a little bit more of the chorus there, but oh well.
Go ahead.
Oh no. So I think Mike is loading up our credentials here. We got to pay the bills, as he likes to say.
Yes, sir.
We are the First, the Last, the Nerdom. As I said before, we have a webpage called FirstLastNerdom.com, and you've got a carousel of our current videos. I just did a short on Criminal, the new comic book, soon to be a streaming series on Amazon. We cover a lot of binge-worthy with TV. We do cover TV stuff under our binge-worthy banner, but we've been lately, our live stuff has been our movie coverage. We last month was Criterion month. If you're watching us live or you see us Sunday, this is the last day for the Criterion sale on Barnes & Noble's December 7th. So if you watched us past that, unfortunately you missed out. But they do it twice a year, so they'll have another one coming up, I think about mid-year. But yeah, check out what we thought of our Criterion movies in our videos. Also, we have a YouTube channel. Let's see. Yep, under FirstLastNerdom at FirstLastNerdom. And we've got all our stuff there. We got a little stuff under videos, shorts, and live, so we've filled it out. And then I promote us on our social media. I'm on Reddit, finding the odd subreddit channels to promote. Sometimes they delete me, but I'm under FirstLastNerdom on. I'm
so sorry, Tom.
On the Reddit. No worries. But yeah, so you can check me out there. But if you want to stay up to date with what we're releasing, I try to stay on top of it on X under FirstLastNerdom as well. But yeah, you'll find me promoting our latest videos there. And Mike, you have some social media as well.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you so much for the. I was trying to get our thing fixed anyway. I'm trying to do too many things at once, but get this thing planned. Better anyway. I just recently changed my tag to be at @SoFakingJewish_. You can find me. I've opened up my account to be opening that lockdown. Anyway, you can find me on X, and me and Tom we banter back and forth once in a while. We're getting to that year, that favorite time, that part of the year where there's going to be a upcoming movies list of 2026. I'll try to do my own, and then maybe you can see me and Tom talk about it, or maybe we'll do something in the offing about it. We'll see. But as always, you can. Tom did such a great job stepping us through to the main event here, to the Day of the Beast, which you picked, and I believe you wanted to pick this one for a while now, yourself. Is that right? Or
Yeah, well, yeah, I was actually I only knew of one movie. This director, Álex de la Iglesia, I think is how you pronounce his name. Yeah, I knew of his movie. Maybe we'll do it later, at some point. Perdita, Durango, which is based off the book, the book is a sequel, one of the sequels to Wild at Heart, which we covered. So it's like for the longest time it was extremely difficult to get a physical copy of this and actually see the movie. So I heard about it, but I never got to really see it. And then a few years back, Severin put out this Blu-ray and 4K of it, and they also released at the same time, or relatively the same time, the Day of the Beast 4K by the same guy, and Action Mutante, which is, I think, its first 3 films. But yeah, so I wasn't aware of the guy, and so they had all 3 of those films on Canopy, which is a streaming service, and I watched those. I believe it was at the beginning of this year or last year, and fell in love with the guy's movies. And I've seen 5 of his movies so far now, and I've enjoyed each of those. And he also has a series on HBO called 20 Coins, I think. So
Okay.
maybe we could check that out and binge-worthy at one point. I haven't got to check it out yet. But yeah, so yeah, it's kind of criminal that I'd never heard about the Day of the Beast before this past year, because it's an excellent movie. It's pretty crazy. Just to set the stage in case you're watching this because you love us and you don't know about the movie, it's about this priest that decides, he finds out the Antichrist is coming back, and he needs to get in contact with the devil so he could, stop this before it happens. And the thing that he thought that would get him in close contact with Satan is to start doing sins. And so that's his big mission. And he's I don't think he's been out of he's sort of a secular scholar. He's kind of a theologian. So he's been kind of trapped up in the church, and he hasn't really been exposed to the outside world. So it's sort of like guy out of place, trying to find his way, and he stumbles upon this death metal guy that they form a friendship and they decide to help each other out. So yeah, that's sort of the bare bones of the story, and it goes crazy from there.
Yeah, so he cracked his code, and then we kind of pick him up like he's on an adventure here to basically commit all these sins, like essentially from the time the movie like just barely like rolling into it, and then he meets the metal guy. He's like a record store guy or whatever, but he's like also metal, very much, and you see this. So he's got to commit as much evil as possible, and I love this. But it doesn't take itself too seriously, so it allows natural, organic, humorous moments. And one of those moments that I noticed was like when he meets the death metal guy, not just heavy, it's death metal. He's like, oh well, I'm just going to take this. He's very forthright with like what most of the sins that if he's talking to you, he doesn't have a problem telling you for the most part. And the guy's like, okay.
I think of all the sins he doesn't. The one thing he doesn't do is he doesn't lie.
No, you're right. Like he's It's a little bit funny because it does kind of comes across, and I definitely got this feeling of like this kind of show. Like there's kind of a feel to it, like this thermonuclear explosion in Spanish cinema. But I'm trying to put the way that I said it though. It was like, God, it just
there's a kinetic energy that's very appropriate for the 90s. The 90s, they didn't have, this is kind of the start of CGI. If you're going to have a CGI, it was going to be bare bones, very little. So to really make a really eye-catching black comedy, you really have to kind of knock the audience over the head. And there's like this frantic kinetic energy to this whole thing that they're rushing from one thing to the other, and there's a couple of spots that I have some issues with, but for the most part everything kind of maps out. There's a lot of coincidences in it, but there's enough breadcrumbs to to really kind of make it make sense. They never stop long enough for you to really dig into the details, but it doesn't ever, like, you never get confused as to what's actually going on and what they're trying to accomplish here.
Right. No, it does get on really. The setup is pretty lightning fast. Father Angel, that's his first name.
Our protagonist, yep.
The guy that we're following, and then the metalhead bard guy, I guess the way to put it, archetype would be Jose Maria.
Jose Maria.
Yeah, and that's his name. Yeah. The actor is Santiago Segura. Do
you know who they wanted first to be in it?
No, I don't know.
Javier Bardem.
Really interesting.
Which is but he had an issue with it being about the devil and stuff. He was kind of spooked by that.
It's a shame. It's a shame. It wasn't that serious. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. But
And then Santiago Segura, he's friends with the director, and the director had told him that he had a role for him in the movie, but he didn't plan on him being Jose. He was going to have him be like I think the guy later in the movie who's doing a symposium on Nostradamus. He was going to be that character.
Okay,
but but Bardem kind of stepped out of the movie, and I believe it was one of the producers suggested Santiago, and Álex was like, no, he's not good enough of an actor to do that role.
Right.
And they convinced him, and and in fact, I can't imagine the movie without him as that character.
It would not have
Um,
worked with different people, put that way.
mhm,
And I agree, I echo what you said before, which was that this was so fun. This is a lot of fun to watch. Like it was funny. It was a little horrifying. It was very much. It had some good shots with the body horror.
mhm.
Actually, pretty decent. Not too bad on the we're getting more advanced effects. It was okay.
Yeah,
For
the
'95,
effects are kind of weak, but it was the '90s. Oh, and
right?
by the way, I do have my boomer juice here. I dropped it before we started, so I don't know if this is going to explode. So I'm hesitantly opening it, and okay, I let it
It
set long
reminded me to
enough.
drink my.
It did not explode.
It reminded me to drink my coconut water. Oh man.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Oh, you know what? The funny thing is the version I got, wink, wink, nod, nod, off the high
Mhm,
seas. Anyway, um,
mhm,
I got a pretty good version of it that had good subtitles and whatnot, but
mhm,
it was all in Spanish. Obviously, because this is like that's the prime. It was Spanish cinema, so this
mhm.
is like. But the funny thing is though is like it, and this is just because I've had so much more surface area in my life with just listening to Spanish and having it be around. Of course, most Americans are not strangers to Spanish, right? So, like,
Mhm.
there's always some kind of a level of high school, middle,
Mhm.
Spanglish something going on. It doesn't take too hard for your kind of like almost. This is a movie like where you could kind of let go and you don't have to read everything and you can understand what's going on. Just like I don't know about you, but like Spanish is not that fucking far away from English. Like in the grand scheme of things, like when you get done. Anyway, it was cool. Like, but there was just so many touch points on here that like just kind of, I guess like the scene or what I've never been to Madrid in the '90s, but it looks like kind of like any other big city,
Yeah,
that you're caught in. But
yeah, yeah. They actually have a. It's cool. The 4K comes with the Blu-ray as well. It has an hour and 20-minute documentary on the movie,
okay.
plus an extended 30-minute interview with the director. Um, uh, Interviews with a couple. No, well, the documentary has interviews with almost all of the actors that are still alive, so that was cool. But yeah, it's like 2.5 hours of extra interviews, including the documentary. Plus, his one of his short films is on here as well, so that's pretty cool. So if you're really into the movie, definitely check out this physical media if you want to know more about. But yeah, they did talk about the documentary has interviews with a lot of his contemporary directors, plus a lot of the ones that were inspired by him after the movie. But one of the things they did talk about was Madrid, and that Madrid's actually, I guess, probably a little bit safer now. But at the time, Madrid was at night was a pretty rough place to be, and they were kind of capturing some of that within the movie. And in fact, like there's kind of a subplot in this movie that tends to kind of pay off at the end. But there's like this group that is beating up old people in the streets and homeless people and tagging with spray paint clean Madrid. And at the time, there was some of those people running around at the time doing stuff like that, and one of them at one point they did set a homeless person on fire. So that was actually kind of a reflection of the times at that point. But he didn't really want to. A lot of the movies in Spain at that time were also very political and had social themes to it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of the ones that had started the movement of more fantastical movies, and he wasn't really interested in politics or a social method. He just wanted to have fun, to kind of explore the movies that kind of inspired him at the time. He was growing up on the cinema that we did, with the Sam Raimi movies and all the kind of Star Wars and everything like that. So he wanted to do the Spanish answer to those, and with a very distinctive Spanish flair to it. I've always liked watching foreign movies because you get a kind of a similar voice, but a different voice as well. It's got a different spin on some themes that you're maybe familiar with, and it makes for a more engaging and kind of a surprising viewing experiences, because sometimes they go in places that you wouldn't normally go because they just have a different sensibility to things.
Yeah, no, you're 100% on the point. And I was going to say, too, a couple things about this. Well, this is 2025, obviously. This is 30 years later, and it holds up. It can be a cult classic. I have it in my notes that it was 300. It cost approximately 300 million pesetas. I'm not pronouncing that, so apologize. Anyway, 2.4 million USD. $1 million, adjusted for inflation or stuff. But but this actually, despite some of the ones that we kind of trailed in here on that become cult classics, this one was actually it did fairly well at the did double, if not double what it made. What was made for it made 4 million in Spanish cinema. So and it was one of the highest grossing Spanish films of '95. For their market, I believe that's what it's saying.
Yeah, and one of the things that they used the budget to the max. I mean, they there's a big crowd scene in the middle or towards the end of the movie where they're kind of chasing a particular character through this big crowd, and the producer told the director, that shooting time, 12 hours, we could only get 50 extras. And he said, oh no, I can barely fill a room. I need a lot more people. And he goes, well, so 12 hours, 50 people, cut that in half. Can we get 100 people for 6 hours? They go, yeah, we can do that. What about 200 for 3 hours? Okay. He cut it down to a half hour for 600 people. And so if everything looks a little crazy in the crowd scene, it was because he was trying to get all of his shots within a half hour with the 600 people. So that's one of the cool things about with a low budget movie. It inspires imagination and creativity, and really spotlights if a director really knows what he's doing. Because if you're not going to get a well-crafted movie. If you have several $1 million to do a movie, you could probably bang together a movie with that. But yeah, if you're really kind of strapped down and you really have to go by the seat of your pants, it really tests both the crew and the director to get everything to go through. And like most of the movies that we've kind of looked at, and I've been able to kind of dig into the backgrounds of the movie, all the actors, even 30, I think the interviews took place in 2020 or a little bit before that. They all were very nice and spoke highly of the director. So they said he was very he's sort of a soft-spoken person in person, but on the set he knew how to turn everything up and make people listen to him. So he was able to take charge, and listening to him in the interviews, he's got a lot of charisma to him, and he is a funny guy. He says that this movie was probably the captures his what he wants to put on film the best. It sort of like captures him completely. So yeah, he also said that at the time he was playing the role-playing game of Call of Cthulhu, and was very much into Lovecraft, and that inspired the main character of it, because he didn't want some muscle bound action hero as the star of it. He saw it as more of a a scholarly person, an older person. And he said that when he was playing the Call of Cthulhu role playing game, it was very cool to play as the old professor type guy, with the bag of tricks that he has, kind of making it through and fighting these demons. So that was very much an inspiration point for this. And yeah, it does. In the movie, you can understand why people kind of overlook him and don't see him as a threat, because he's kind of a small in stature and kind of a meek looking priest. And in day-to-day life, and also in a movie, you don't see the small priest guy as this force to be reckoned with. So it kind of plays against type here.
No, he did. He does a good job. The setup, Álex de la Iglesia, that I was just looking at his pedigree, and as you had mentioned before a little bit, you had mentioned one, but I was just saw that he did Perdita, Durango, in The Last Circus. I just thought that was interesting. Anyway, sorry.
No, unfortunately, the actor that plays him, Alejandro Angulo.
Angulo,
he's no longer with us. He died back in 2014. Looks like it was a car accident.
Oh wow!
So he was on his way to film another movie. But yeah, and then that was in the interviews, everybody spoke highly of him and wished he was still with us. And the guy that plays there's a TV psychic in the movie that is very enjoyable in this movie, and he's actually Italian. That actor, let's see his
Armando
name.
de la Razza.
He does a great role in it, and he was talking about how he wished that he was still with them. So he really wanted to do like a sequel to this.
Man, that's a shame too, because it's this would I don't know if who knows what the sensibilities would be for that today, but if there were a group of people that could do it, it would be, I would, well, I mean, it's kind of like it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it does. Like, I mean, for the premise, this is also kind of like one of those movies that we love that kind of takes a different angle, takes a topic that has been written about and scared people about, for years. The one that we cover that tiptoes to this quite a bit was there's a series of movies that technically would go through, to stop the Antichrist, from being born from that different perspectives. I love that. We covered that. It's very fertile territory, but the way that they do it is kind of like, and kind of like, I guess the better way to put it is like this father angel. He's such a good person. He's terrible at being bad. That's what I was describing before. Like, but anyway,
right.
he's on this this metal
journey,
this death metal ride. You might as well call it, like just this kind of like this crash course to meet the devil, and you got to beat the devil. So you naturally see the connective tissue there with him going in this record store, meeting this clerk who's
he wants to find that metal music, the devil's music.
And who does he run into? One of our main characters here too, also, or side characters, I should say, helper, sidekick, or whatever you want to. But he claims to be a Satanist, or is a Satanist, and there's like, really, and and it's so funny because he is so genuine. and it is a shame that Álex passed away in that, or was killed in a car. Anyway, it's just, it draws you in, and you just can't help but keep watching. And they have the hijinks kind of take off quickly, and like you can't help but like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it plays the line like, of course he's committing these sins. Yeah, yeah. Oh, he robs a dying man and wishes him to hell. So it's pretty harsh, but you're laughing because it's kind of played in a kind of a comedic tone to it. Nothing gets too dark in this movie. There's a lot of things that happen, but it never for me goes to the end to puts me off. It rides that fine line of black comedies, because with black comedy you can go too far and lose the audience, whereas I don't think this movie ever loses the audience. You do have to accept what's going on at the beginning, and
Sure.
a story about the Antichrist, that's as old as Rosemary's Baby and beyond that. But the angle it takes on this movie is very inventive. With this priest going on this journey to try to track down Satan, and he doesn't have the real life tools to do that. He like you said, he cracked the code. He knows when it's happening, but he doesn't know how to find Satan, and he kind of almost stumbles upon his two other wise men. This is a Christmas movie. Christ was born on Christmas Day, and the Antichrist evidently is being mirrored. As they say in this, Satan likes to mirror what the what God has done. So of course it's going to be Christmas that this happens on, and you got the three wise men trying to find find the Antichrist. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
and very much a Christmas movie. One of my friends back in the day would say, Satanists are Christians. They buy in on the whole thing. It's just that they just have a slightly different take on it. Whole mythology. So highly enjoyable. There's a scene with a goat. A black goat. That's
Let me try to find that one.
black goats are just scary. We were introduced to Black Phillip in The Witch, and I think they talked about how difficult it was to film with the goat in that movie, and in this movie, this goat was equally as difficult. At one point, it chased the director. It was like running around, bashing up everything. They said that they were so desperate that they nailed through his hooves to the floor to get him to stay still, and he ripped his feet out and ripped up the floorboards. He ripped up the floorboards to get loose, and so they finally just decided, we'll just let him walk around the hotel room and just film him. So that's what they did. They let him kind of take control of things, and they actually did at one point the goat stands up on its hind legs, and that was CGI, but
Right.
so that actually was the CGI was pretty iffy in this, but that actually looked pretty cool. That wasn't too bad, that portion where he stands up.
Oh yeah. The other thing too, I was going to say, this really does have the antics and the characters that really do stick out and stand out in their own right. Very good acting. Yeah. I will say this: far better acting than what you think that you would get from an unknown foreign film,
independent movie. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was going to say too that this is essentially Shaun of the Dead. I mean, obviously it's not with those greats, but it holds up its own version. But it's very unique in its own.
It has this flavor to it. Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say I was also very, very impressed by the physicality of the acting from a lot of these characters, because there's a lot of physical kind of things that happen. That is not, and it has nothing to do with comedy. Sometimes it can enhance it, but from the drama part, the dark comedy part, or the dark, when the dark parts start to kind of come in, there's a sense of kind of there's this evil that we talk about that's theoretical, maybe even funny a little bit. But and that turning point comes, I think, where you see, and I wish I had a clip of it or whatever, I guess, queued up, but it's where they're sitting. They're kind of catching their breath, and about 3/4 of the way through, and they're on the bus stop bench, is what I would call it, and you know, like what you were talking about, like where you kind of see these kind of buffoonish. They've kind of been clowns, or buffoon, just kind of. Clowns is the wrong
their
word.
Way, yeah.
they're just they're klutzy. I'll put it that way. They're klutzy, and their resolve is there, and it just kind of like goes on. And some of these people just kind of like, at first they're just playing along because of threat of force. And the other thing, people get hit in the head a lot on this. It's like the only thing missing to add to the humor part would be the cartoon character kind of, you know, stars, you know,
circling their head,
right. But that's kind of the in a good way. You get this. The antics, I guess, would be a good way to put it. Just like you'd had from Shaun of the Dead, but they're a little bit different. But
right.
You go and you can't help but like be pulled in to this to as just like just the chaos. And then it's kind of like it's also reminiscent of Terminator a little bit, you know, like where you're kind of like, here's a short period of time. And this thing is going to happen but you're not sure if what you know he's getting to is
you're racing to the finish. Yeah,
right.
You're under the clock. Yeah,
right. What are we seeing when we see it? You know, some of these kind of things that where there through the arc though too. You also have kind of like where he loses his faith a little bit, or
there's a crisis of faith. What am I doing here?
Right.
There's actually, like you said, on the bench, there's like a sort of a heartwarming moment where, you know, where he admits, you know, hey, I'm a bit of a screw up. I've maybe killed your mother. I don't know, but yeah, he's like, no, you know, screw. Jose's like, screw her, you know, whatever.
And she is demonstrably a horrible. It could be she's an interesting person, but she's horrible. But you also don't quite know. But you know, because she kind of she's not a frail old woman either.
No. She said that, you know, some bad element from Madrid Street comes into the house, or her place business. She's gonna get her shotgun out, and that's what she did.
Oh, she wants to get him, and she loves that rabbit too, like you. Also, this might offend some sensibilities, but this woman is just like, you know, she's just like, I got to do what I got to do. Oh, and also, you know, she's not dumb either. She's not a pushover too. Is what I like.
Yeah, no, that was the thing. Even the small characters like her has a personality and very memorable. Her and the girl Mina, who's maybe the metalhead's girlfriend, maybe not. Depends on who you ask. And then there's Grandpa who. Who likes to walk around in Starkers with just his robe hanging open, and evidently from the interviews, evidently he was just some local guy that they got to play that, and they say he was kind of weird guy, oddly enough, and at one point, to be polite about it, he was maybe playing with himself a little bit in front of some of the women there, and. Director had to come over and say, "Hey, knock it off."
Oh man.
So so they were able to fund this movie, and I think 20% of the funds came from a group in Italy. So they asked for a couple of Italian actors. So that's why Professor Cavan is played by like you said, Armando de Razza, and then Susanna, which plays his girlfriend in the movie. Very, very memorable. Her in that red dress and blonde wig, played by Maria Grazia. Cucinotta, I believe is how you pronounce her name. She had just came away from a performance in the Italian the Italian movie The Postman that went on to make get an Academy Award. So you have a lady from Academy Award winning movie doing this movie, and a lot of people are asking her, why are you doing this? And then she goes, well, it's a different, it's a role that I wouldn't have probably been able to play in Italy, and then after this movie, she went on to move to Hollywood. But she does a very good job in this, and very much a trooper, like the rest of them. She's kind of at one point, like you said, she gets knocked out, and they're dragging her around, and she said that her back got pretty scarred up from being dragged around, so she got put through her paces. And she's in high heels, and she said that the floor was very slippery, and that when Jose, the character Jose, is chasing her around with the knife, she was kind of scared of him, but also scared that she's going to fall as well because of that slippery ground. And at one point, he actually slipped himself, and she was like, "Oh, I'm glad it wasn't me." But yeah, she said that she's had nightmares since then of a man chasing her with a knife, because that kind of like triggered some a deep emotional thing, where women do tend to be a little bit frightened of the situation where a man would chase them with the knife. And she goes, and he was a bit of an imposing man, not that he would have done anything, but obviously, but it was just the whole situation that was kind of
crazy.
Almost
an LSD trip in and of itself.
That was another thing. They do in the ritual. They do take a little bit of mind altering substances. So one could say, was this all in their head? Everything that plays out could have a real life. Backing to it. Did they really see the goat? I mean, was that all their imagination?
And the thing that kind of counter to that is, did they just see it in their head? Is they all see it? Like, so it's normally like one thing if you're on your trip and Tom, you see your thing and I see my thing, and then we're in our own little corners of the couch, over off in Never Neverland or whatever. But it's just funny. It also is funny too because you have this is literally like it's up to a joke or something. You have the priest, the metalhead, and a fake psychic or con
I had the
man,
exact same thought. I was going to bring that up. So a priest and black metal guy, TV psychic walk into a bar. right, yeah.
But so they're kind of through this bumbling, stumbling, very how did I say before? They're very klutzy. This very klutzy ensemble does find they do kind of start to communicate. And the funny thing is too, it's so funny because multiple times the priest kind of like he's very forthright. He's an open book. He's a walking book. Matter of fact,
a little too much forthright.
Any time the priest is sitting or standing still long enough, and you get more than 3 questions, he's telling you about his this thing. And anyways, and these people are listening. It's funny too because when he gets picked up for stealing earlier in the movie, like when he's committing these sins.
Yeah, I enjoy that scene. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The loss prevention guy, the security guy, is there, and he's like, why, Father? What are you doing here? Come on, And then he gets in there, and then it's so funny. There's a chalkboard, and he just naturally pops up, and he's like naturally commanding the room, and you would believe this too because of his, just how he is, how he cares. And then he's interrupted. He's like, "Get the hell out of here!" He's like, he wants to listen to this thing.
Yeah.
And no, anyway, it's just very funny. It adds to the layer of the movie on this little small kind of side sidebar, on his way, and then well, father's not sticking around there for long, and he realizes like this guy just like he's like, he's pretty. Father is surprisingly street smart.
Yeah. For what he is. For
being
someone that hasn't watched television at all, as he says in the movie, he's never seen a television show. So
right.
He's very, very naive to a lot of real world things. So he kind of needs Jose there to give his sort of skewed view of the world. And they do use a lot of real world things to kind of expound upon what they're doing there. There's a not to get too spoilery, but we're kind of deep into it, so it's slight spoilers. There's a structure that they find that has that Satan has used for his bidding. God and Christ uses the church, which is the cross. The church is sort of their symbol for their place of worship, and so Satan's going to have his place as well to reflect. And they find that it's these two leaning marks, and which could represent horns as well. But there's an actual building that they were constructing at the time. I think it's called Gateway to Europe or something, I believe. It's the Kia Towers, and it's I think for the banking community there. So the actors were saying, it's sort of prophetic in real life too, that you got these evil bankers in a place of worship for Satan. That they use kind of the movie sort of prophetic about, because I guess after this there was sort of a banking scandal afterwards about them misusing money. Don't quote me on that. You'll have to do your own research on that. But yeah, just kind of an interesting, because I thought maybe that those were sort of well done CGI, because I know that I wasn't sure if there was a structure like that in Madrid, but evidently there is. So it was during construction, so that's why in the movie there's sort of like a construction site thing. There's a spoiler. They do see Satan in this. It's kind of interesting because I wasn't sure if he was CGI, but it's an actual guy in the suit. They got a guy that he doesn't have his legs he doesn't have any legs below the knee. So the guy's actually on stilts in that suit. So yeah, he kind of had to learn how to walk on stilts in that suit, which is actually it's kind of disturbing sort of a creature there.
Real. It looks real enough anyway. I mean, obviously,
absolutely.
It's a fucking movie, but it adds to the eerie in the background. Obviously, you see that you're in a you're on the doorstep of another fucking realm.
Yeah, kind of a hellscape going on there.
Yeah. And you don't know if all of this is a psychotic break fueled by drugs and stress, but the movie rides that line perfectly, leading into this point there. Right. And then it's kind of funny how it goes. And I think there's a specific name, a Spanish name for this kind of movie too, that I was a little bit if I could find it, Esperpento, a Spanish tradition of grotesque satire, something like that. So I probably butchered the hell out of that. But anyway, that's what my notes say. But
maybe our Spanish speakers could correct us on it.
Well, please do. And I am so sorry. I apologize. It's a beautiful, beautiful language. I don't mean to cut it down or make light of it or take it.
Caramba.
Right. Yeah.
I'll butcher it for you. It's all good. But yeah, it's highly entertaining. Also, at the end, I'll tell you how it was going to end. I won't tell you how it really ends, so you'll watch the movie. But how it was going to end, the priest does kill the Antichrist, and then they kind of realized at the end that you might lose the audience if the priest kills a baby. So
right.
that maybe pushed it a little too far. So at the last minute, when the crew was actually walking away, saying we're done we're done. Álex, the director, decides that he needs to reshoot the ending, and him and I think the two actors, their professor, playing the Kavanaugh and the priest, they reshot the ending. So the ending that's in the movie is a little bit more ambiguous, and then you're kind of left on a image of a statue, and I didn't realize it, but it's called the Fallen Angel, and it's a statue of Satan,
Lucifer.
Lucifer.
Yeah, that's what I wondered.
Yeah.
I wondered that too. Yeah, because I noticed in there, God knows, there's all kinds of iconic stuff. Over in Europe that we just don't have over here like that. But that's really cool. Oh, there it is. There, I thought that they, of course, they would have it. So hopefully,
yep.
No, yeah. Well, they flash forward, and then you're just kind of like, what's going on, Yeah,
it kind of leads into a possible sequel,
Well, it does. That's why I say it. I mean, that's why we kind of talked about it a little bit more at length. But because you kind of do want one. I mean, I would not say no to it because of there are the acting on it was really, really good, way above maybe what we would expect. I mean, but everybody they did such a good job because they got so in the characters that you just want to. You love to hate the characters that kind of are brooding, or they're over the top, or they're or they're dumb, or you want to shake them and be like, you're stupid, or it's bumbling. But it's just funny how that works. But this won the Spanish version of the Goya Awards, so it's like their premium super tier movie awards in their thing. But this one, I think 6, or it won a number of them for sure. So it was a very acclaimed movie.
And they to start off, it didn't. Once they finished the movie, they got invited to the, I think, Venice Film Festival in Venice, Italy, and the Italian actor that plays Kevin was very excited. To show them around, and he's a famous Italian actor, and they were kind of expecting everybody to want pictures of him, and no one was coming to take pictures. And he goes, oh, that's because I have a beard. They don't recognize it. And the guy that plays Jose Maria was like, yeah, right, sure. But yeah, evidently it didn't do so well at Venice. They didn't know what to think of it, and they really didn't like it. So very disappointing. But then it went on, like you said, to win some awards, and it did. It was like a big success in Spain, and actually one of the producers said that he intentionally booked it to premiere at this smaller theater. Because he knew that it would sell out. With it being a smaller capacity theater, it would sell out, and that there would be lines lined up for it because people wouldn't be able to get into it, to create like a buzz about it, which is I guess pretty smart. They did say, I think the actor that played Santiago, who played Jose, said that at the same time that their movie was premiering, Apollo 13 was premiering across the street, and no one was there at the Apollo 13, but there was people lined up to see their movie, so they were pretty excited. But with it being kind of a home base, kind of a homegrown movie, I'm sure there's more of an excitement about especially since there's not like I said at the time, they didn't really have a kind of a fantastical movie like this. It was kind of a new and kind of exciting because there wasn't, there obviously there was a, America was pumping out movies that were similar to this at the time, but this is something that was very unique to Spain at the time, and I can see why that did so well. And I don't know, maybe I'm sure I have these blind spots, and it's a shame that I haven't been able to live with this movie for more than like I said, I only knew about this within the past year, but I would have loved to had this in my been able to experience this movie throughout the years, but yeah, I don't know if it was a blind spot or if this isn't just not a well-known in America, but it's very much a shame. I hope we're in a very small corner of the internet, but whatever we could do to kind of promote this movie, we're gonna do.
I'm surprised that like with all the things that are out there, like we might do a little bit of a micro segment mini show conversation on it. Maybe we'll talk about it, but like you have companies changing hands all the time. You got Netflix buying Warner Brothers, you got Amazon buying Stargate franchise, you got and some kind of sort of portion of the Lord of the Rings universe or something. Anyway, You have all these kind of things that are like they're looking for every little thing that they can try to find and pull in. And the funny thing to me is you have things out there that are just waiting there.
Yeah, to be discovered.
That nobody would have a problem if they were to like do a modern updated version of this, maybe, and then they would have another, if it did well enough, whatever the hell well enough is for a streaming service, because we all don't really know per se. I mean, you know when it's patently obvious, like when I think one of our second show was covering a very popular TV show, True to Our Roots. We still do that to this day, which is the Korean one. Good grief, the games,
Squid Games.
Squid Games, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we covered that on like our second show ever. Anyway, these things evolve, and unless it's like something really, really, truly big that bubbles up, kind of like that, or Pluribus that we've covered over, we have this track record of covering things that are very interesting to us both, and also kind of popular out there. But like, I lament that you have something wonderful there, and again, to your point, we're not going to spoil the ending. But the ending it's kind of perfect. I mean, it kind of leaves you like with like, what the fuck? I just see like, anyway. But it's very good. Go watch it. Go see it. This is the one that you will not miss the money if you go and purchase this on physical media. And I'll hand that back to you, Tom, and let you maybe talk about or say a few words about that.
Yeah, we're going to go to the evils of Amazon, my feelings about Amazon. I was going to, this is put out by Severin Films, which is a small boutique label. They have their own website. I was going to promote their website, but they did a massive Black Friday sale. So their website is down right now. They're kind of recovering and getting out all those orders. So if you go to their website, it's like nope, we'll be back on the 9th. So if you wanted to check out their site, you can maybe do that later. But awesome. But yeah, they're you can pick it up today if you were really wanting to on Amazon. I think $30 is pretty good for that.
It's not bad.
But yeah, it's I think that's roughly what I paid for it, but yeah, like I said, it's a 2-disc. You get the 4K, you get the Blu-ray. I think you can also, for a little bit cheaper, just get the Blu-ray. But like I said, it's got like 2.5 hours, a little over 2.5 hours of extra stuff. You do actually have. I did watch. Anytime there's a native track of the native language that it's was filmed in, that's usually what I watch with subtitles, if needed. But it does have an English language track as well, so dubbed. So I know it was released here in the United States, like I said, but I did not see it. So
well, I will say this about that. I
looks
probably
like we got a comment.
Oh, do we? Do we have a comment here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Comment.
You know what?
Yes.
Let me pull it up here, and I can read it out loud.
Well, it's about the end
Apocalypse.
times, the apocalypse of the commenter, but and it is sort of biblical, but it's done in a kind of black comedy kind of way. So it's if you're looking for something that's strictly biblical and
Oh, here we
taken
go.
seriously.
Good grief. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I figured out the button there. At Hank Detroit 2076. He asked. It's up on the screen. I put it up there for a moment. He just said, "Is this movie about?"
It's not a serious take. It's more of a kind of a black comedy sort of a
satire,
kind of loose kind of thing. So no, it's not something if you're looking for really serious kind of biblical take. No.
Right.
It's sort of a kind of a crazy sort of movie. I was going to point out a couple of things that I had slight problems with. Like there's a scene where like I said, they greet this goat, and then afterwards it seems like the Satan's trying to get in contact with them. Something's banging at the door, and I don't understand why they didn't open the door if they were looking for Satan at that point. They actually run from it. So that was the one kind of logic thing I had kind of an issue with the movie. And also the at one point Jose gets the shotgun, and that thing had more bullets than I don't know what. It kept firing the endless shotgun, which it bothered me on the first viewing of it, but this second viewing of it, it was it was more laughable and enjoyable. It didn't bother me as much. But yeah, so kind of like I wonder maybe the movie wouldn't have been as long if they didn't run away from Satan at that point. But when he was banging on the door, but I just don't know why they didn't answer. It's like, hey, Satan, come on in.
You do see a lot of circumstantial things that would normally be circumstantial things that kind of maybe this is where the movie plays with you with those circumstantial things, and it kind of gives it a little bit of a tilt toward the supernatural here and there, depending upon where you want to pick up and drop the the needle for for the from going from the zany coincidences or but it does weave a tale, and it does that's kind of the other thing of the movie, that it'll take you and it'll grab you and it'll make you think a couple different ways on a different thing. So it does force itself to take you seriously. It asks questions that you naturally dig into, that the acting kind of carries us away, and we're on the lamb on
the subject
last
matter
48 hours, or whatever.
Right. The subject matter is very serious, but the way it's portrayed is very, very comedic. And yeah, it's one of those. Like I said, I like my horror, I like my comedy, and when they mix it perfectly, that's my sweet spot. So yeah, this movie is definitely my sweet spot. And then this is a very enjoyable. Álex de la Iglesia, the director. It really made me want to see more of his things. That Action Mutante, that was his first film. This one right here. It's a sci-fi movie, which Mike, that's his sweet spot. So we may have to cover this. It's sort of like a sci-fi comedy horror kind of thing. So very, very, very entertaining.
I absolutely am in love with that. Yeah, we are definitely going to see that.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Perdita Durango is the sequel to loose sequel to Wild at Heart, and that's actually Barry Gifford who wrote the book on that. Co-wrote the screenplay with him. Or with looks like a couple other people, and it looks like Álex just directed it. But yeah, this one is pretty crazy. Wild at Heart's crazy. This one's actually a little bit crazier. goes a little bit more extreme. It's a little lot more, and this one does have Javier Bardem. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but yeah,
Lord.
he's pretty over the top in this movie. So yeah, this one's a it's not really horror, but it dances around it, and it has comedy to it. But like I said, it's very extreme.
Well, of course it is. And this is back when they knew how to make extreme movies that break your break your perception sometimes. But the Álex de la in we are fans. Obviously, we are going to be. We love the Wild at Heart. That was really good. Again, like some of these films you would not maybe look at a second time, but it's a shame because more films like this and the ones that Tom just went through, we will absolutely be covering. And I love that we discover these things and find them together and we can talk about them. And also to invite you here. I think I don't have too much more to add. I was just going to.
I think we're wrapping it up.
Rolling it up. Okay, yeah. I was just going to go back through the thing, but if you like this and thank you for tuning in, Mr. Hank Detroit 2076. I love that name. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Or even watching a little bit, and as you can always see, actually, it can fix that, and hopefully, it has fixed the. There we go. I had to fix the title there. That's what I was kind of stun locked there, and Tom was picking up and carrying the show forward in the middle of me trying to figure out be fast. And of course, when you try to be fast, you're going to be slow. But anyway, with that being said, we're always available on here, and I was going to say we hit 314 the other day until I uploaded our last two. Binge-worthies, but with that being said, you can always find us here on the main channel
on
here
the YouTubes.
Yep.
Yep. And thank you for checking out Eyes Wide Shut. That did quite well, and Mike did a little video on his own about his thoughts and theories and spoilers on Pluribus. And that's done quite well. So we appreciate you checking us out. If you're checking us out for the first time and you dig us, which if you watch this whole video, you might be a fan, might want to like, subscribe, and give us a comment. Tell us what obscure movie that we might not know about that you love. Because this movie, you get to the point where you think you've seen maybe everything that's to offer from the past. And it just surprises me of the movies that pop up now that I've never heard of, that are fantastic, that I fall in love with, and it's like, why hasn't this been in my life this whole time? Why haven't I been enjoying this? Luckily I've hung out this long and finally got a chance to see this. But that's what's wonderful about what the 2025 can bring to you. Things are. Things you could look at things badly and say, things are maybe heading in the wrong direction or whatnot. But this is the best time for physical media, even though maybe there's dark clouds ahead. It's a great time for physical media, for streaming. There's some people that love physical media and hate streaming and blah blah blah. I think there's a time and place for it all. Like I said, Day of the Beast and some of the other movies of his were streaming on Canopy, which is actually free. It's through your local library. All you have to do is have a library card, and if your library's in the system, you immediately get access. You get these credits that you can use. They have a wonderful, actually one of the best collection of movies to choose from, and I see a lot of cool things. So I'll watch the movies. I watched these movies on Canopy first and realized I love them, and I wanted a physical copy of it. At one point I was just buying physical media because I liked physical media, but I decided I bought enough crap that I regretted on physical media. So I really wanted to, narrow it down. I only want to get the stuff that I love. So, I watched these movies, Day of the Beast. And I was like, I need this on physical media. I need a copy of this. So I think that's what streaming is there for, for you to see a movie that maybe you want physical media, or kind of speculating, hey, I might want that, and let me watch that first, make sure I want a physical copy, and then. But yeah, that's a good way to do it, I say.
Absolutely, yeah. Just a little bit at a time, and you get these, and then you can break them out when you need to.
But yeah, and also the Day of the Beast. I was going to say, Canopy, but if you have Shudder or I think AMC Plus or whatever the hell that's called, it's on there as well.
Oh, right.
So,
yeah. You know what? I was going to say that too about my watching habits. Like I was looking at the bills, and I do this every year. I slim down, I trim down, I see what do I really want to spend money on, and one of those things was YouTube TV, and I did for a long time because it allowed me to watch a whole bunch of movies and have everything on tap and da 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 da. It was great, but it's really pricey. But I found myself, I was like, I really still want to have my Turner Classic Movies and some other things like that, because I really do enjoy the curated list and the interviews, and then some of the people on there, Ben Mankiewicz. Anyway, I have found shopping around that I actually found something that would be worth it, and it would absolutely be displacing some other ones that I pay for. So it's like, you can't pay for them all. It's just, you don't want, you just can't, there's not enough hours in the day. There's always going to be like kind of a core 2 or 3 that are never going anywhere for me. One of those is YouTube Premium that I will pay for foreseeable time, but you also get some other perks with that. But anyway,
if you look on your screen, Amazon Prime looks like it's streaming on there as well, because you got that Stream Now button on there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you got Amazon. Well, that's the beautiful part about most of these things are wide enough to where whatever ecosystem you're in, you're not far away from it. Hopefully you only get into problems like when it's a little bit more obscure and it's just not available somewhere. It just kind of fell through. But if it did, it's just as much as likely to be on some of one of our favorites too, like that Pluto or the what's the other one? The Tubi, yeah, the Tubi that we like to promote here. But and those are free. So like if you don't mind watching a couple ads, that you'll be able to see some of these things. We try to find that for people. But with that being said, I've been Mike.
And I'm Tom, and an ad blocker is your friend.
Awesome. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Jingle bell, jingle hell all the way.
Christmas movies.